How is everybody? It's Dr. Katka here. Today is September 1st in the beautiful country of Czech Republic, my home country. This is the north part of the Czech Republic. České středohoří, you can see in the back there, beautiful mountains, Milešovka and Lomoš. September 1st. First is always a powerful day. I spoke with you about that already. It's a new beginning. Every single month we get a new beginning. So let's talk about what September brings for us and what we can bring into September and to the rest of our year 2021. August was about discernment. Discernment for many reasons, and I hope you managed to have a good month of August. Some of us maybe have had a hard time, something very difficult happened. Some of us managed to go someplace nice and have a vacation and enjoy time with our children. Nevertheless, discernment has been really important throughout the whole year, but more so now than ever. And as we're moving into September, the invitation as children are going back to school, at least here in this country, and as we are returning back to fairly as close to normal as we possibly can lifestyle after the summer is ending. And as the sun is in most parts of the world, at least in the northern hemisphere, going to start to get shorter and shorter days and colder, the theme for this month, and literally going forward, but especially for this month, is going to be self-care. And it is so very clear. I just watched this most beautiful documentary, I guess, about planet Earth and about how our life cycle as humans is literally dependent on water, and how water and the cycle of water is dependent on life, on other life, of the trees, of the insects, of the animals. And it's this continuous life cycle that is fueled and then by itself. And then as we're losing, as the drought is happening all across the world, we're losing vegetation, and that is then in turn losing more water on planet Earth. And then the whole cycle is becoming disconnected and lost. And in the middle of all this hopelessness, in that there are these places on planet Earth where nature comes back. They call them Refugio. In the biggest drought, in the places post massive fires, nature comes back and creates these places, these oases of, they call them Refugio, where it's like life protects itself. Life literally is protecting itself for when it's needed elsewhere. It's quite a hope. And nature, when given the right resources, can always recover. And what that brings us to is that we are part of nature as humans, and that unfortunately a lot of these disconnections and damages in our world are happening due to our massive overuse of planet resources, and more so than that is actually putting a lot of byproduct of our human industry back into the planet, and the planet not knowing really and not having resources to navigate that. And it's still taking care of itself in the big picture, trying to take care of us. And what we can do right now is we cannot go out there and save planet Earth, right? As individual human beings, we're barely managing to do well for our families and for our kids and our nations. And so what we can do, and what I feel is our responsibility, is to take care of ourselves. To take care of ourselves so we can be this refugio, so we can be this part of nature that is able to sustain itself, and with that have the resources for others, with that be able to provide the water, the sun rays for others. And how do we do that? It can be very difficult, especially when one is busy going to work, having to take care of children, having to worry about all these COVID regulations, you name it. What do we do? There's 3 things that we do. One, most important one, is going to be, how do we treat ourselves? How do we think of ourselves? How do we manage to have compassion and love for ourselves? Because as you've heard me speak, I've spoken a lot about trust and perception in the last few weeks of the month August, and literally I have had some beautiful input from all of you, and thank you for that. And literally the thing that is becoming clear is the trust between one another comes from, can I trust myself? Can I really trust myself? That's where the discernment comes in. Can I trust myself? Can I do good for myself? Can I speak well about myself, no matter what the hardship, no matter what my failures are, no matter what mistakes I do on a daily basis? Can I be kind to myself first? Just like the nature, when it gets damaged and the animals doesn't go beat itself up, it just goes and does the next best thing to recover. And it's like the sun rays, it happens with no condition right there. It happens with no condition. And I'm always reminded, I told you I love being high up and then being down by the water. That's the reminder of the cycle. I did not realize that, but the trees in the Amazon rainforest, what they do in the times of the biggest drought, they don't store the water for themselves. They don't, preserve themselves. They, as a massive family, a group of trees, what they do, they pull more water in, and they actually put more water out in a gas form, right? They put more water out, and they actually create this river of cloud above the Amazon, and just starts flowing and starts flooding the land below, and then ultimately the whole world benefits from that. So it's like the trees do the opposite. Yeah, they in the midst of the biggest struggle and shortage and sorrow, quote unquote, they give of themselves. And the only way they can do that is they're connected as a family, but they are standing strong in themselves. So that is kind of an analogy for the month of September. And I would say, why not run with it? Because this is the month to start taking extra care of ourselves in that regard. That after that, it's October, November, and then we have, holidays coming up, and possibly more stress is coming our way. So what do? We start really paying attention to the thoughts that we put out there for ourselves, not just for others, but for ourselves. We start taking a little bit of extra time to maybe acknowledge the good that we have done every day. And then we have extra vitamin, extra nutrient, extra green drink, extra alkaline drink, the lemon water. Maybe we do a cleanse, in September, just to take care of ourselves. I just spoke to a patient, and she had this most amazing event where she was able to really witness herself as the being that she is, and there was this awe and compassion, and what that had her want to do is start eating better, take better care of herself. And then reminds me, yes, maybe that's a way to go, and the other way is also a way to go. We start taking better care of ourselves. That will help us to treat ourselves better, to see ourselves better. So it's both ways. It's little things. It's when we get upset, instead of going and taking it out on the kids or somebody else in the supermarket, we just go, oh boy, and we just like channel it down, and we go for a quick like run or stomping the feet somewhere outside in front of the store. Something simple that's doable. That's not like a, 2 hours of meditation a day. I mean, would that be beautiful to do first thing in the morning, 1 hour first thing in the morning, first thing like, right before the sleep, another hour? Of course. Is it doable for us? No. Is it something to aspire? Yes. So how about maybe we start with 10 minutes of just breath, or as we are preparing our beautiful lunch for the next day, we just breathe, and we are thankful for the food that we have, and for the fact that we actually can consciously decide to bring compassion and gratitude into our day and into the food that goes into the next day. Simple things like that. I don't have all of them. I'm gonna maybe put a list together for myself and then share that with you. That'd be really nice. But that is a big piece for us to bring into the year. Is September stands for self-care. How about that? That's a motto. September stands for self-care. At least I'll put that on my mirror and take it from there. All right, everybody, have an amazing September. I'm going to check in with you, and you let me know how you are. All the best.